You should already have your project open. Your promo, right? Are you working on your promo? So this is a demonstration of to show a situation where you might need to make an insert edit. I found a situation where I wanted to make an insert edit in my as I'm laying out my clips for my rough cut on my timeline. I found this little section. I think it was this one here where she was talking about she was talking about the cosmetology program.
Yeah, I know they have a great cosmetology and makeup program here on campus as well.
And so then Tony makes a comment about the cosmetology, but then I felt like it wasn't talked about enough, so I wanted to insert something because then Ashante changes the subject right away. But I want to insert something and make it look like there was more talk about it actually when there wasn't. But I'm gonna kind of distort reality a little bit because I'm an editor and I have that kind of power, right? Isn't that nice?
Don't let it go to your head.
Yeah. So here we go. So this is this is how the conversation actually happened, and then you'll see I'll do an insert edit and it will make a split in the middle of this clip and insert some more talk about the cosmetology program rather than Ashante kind of just changes the subject right away after Tony mentions cosmetology, where it could be a good place to keep, to embellish a little bit more about the cosmetology program. They're new, they need a little publicity.
Yeah, I know they have a great cosmetology and makeup program here on campus as well. Yeah, well,
So you see how Ashante did that? She just changed the subject. Well, I wanted to have her talk a little bit more about the cosmetology program after Tony brought it up.
have a great cosmetology and makeup program here on campus as well.
So that could be a good place to fit. Let me zoom in with plus to fit this little section here that I found in the over the shoulder shot. And if I click play into out, we can hear what she says about cosmetology. So there we go. So I'm going to fit that clip where the playhead is. So I'm just going to do an insert here. So I can click the button or I can press what keyboard shortcut? Comma key works. So comma. Here we go. Okay. Wait, let me undo that so you can see. Okay, so one way to put it to mark a point of insertion is by putting the playhead in the place that I want it to go, right? So let me just make sure I found the right place. So she says yeah here. I also included her saying yeah here. I could cut out the yeah here, or well, I might trim the yeah out. I might use the yeah later. I'll go before the yeah. Okay, oops. So before she says yeah, let me just zoom in with plus. Okay, ooh, let me try to get before the yeah. You can kind of hear her say yeah a little bit. Okay, right there. Now, instead of just using my playhead, I'm going to mark an end point in my timeline. I'm going to press I. And then I don't have to worry about keeping my playhead there because I want to be able to show you how long the whole project is right now. So if I press the end key, END, I can jump my playhead to the very end, and you can see the length of my project so far is. Can you guys tell how long that is? Right. 3 minutes, 15 seconds, 11 frames. Now, do you think it's going to stay that length after I do the insert?
No.
Right. It's going to do what? It's going to get
Extended.
longer by what duration? By, this is our duration of the clip I marked in to out. So it's going to extend it by 14 seconds and 16 frames. So if you do the math, you can predict how long it's going to end up. What if I was doing an overwrite?
Would not extend it.
Right, it would probably not extend it at all unless the clip was actually longer than the rest of the length of the project. Okay, so here it goes. I'm going to do an insert. This time I'm going to press comma. And it doesn't matter where my playhead is because why? I have the endpoint that overwrites the playhead. So I'm going to press comma key. And then it goes in. So it fits it right in where the endpoint was and pushes everything else over. So now if I go to the end of this, it's longer, right? What was it before? Anyone remember? It was 3:15. Now it's 3:29:27. 3 minutes, 29 seconds, and 27 frames. So that's probably a good length for the project, around 3 minutes.
Pro shop.
But I might go in and, find stuff that I can tighten up and take out.
And Premiere.
So let's just hear how it sounds now. When Tony, see, it made a cut in the middle of the clip, fits this little clip that I sectioned off from the over the shoulder shot, and fits it right where that endpoint was marked, splitting the clip that was there into 2 pieces now. So let's hear how it sounds when Tony brings up about cosmetology, and then Ashante chimes in with a little more about the makeup process.
And I know they have a great cosmetology and makeup program here on campus as well.
Yeah, I got made up by the cosmetology from another campus, and they made up Alexis as well, and I got to build the altar and with helping Emilio and Alexis with that. Yeah,
So she says yeah again there. Well, she says yeah in a few places. So one thing is it's a little bit disjointed. There's a little bit of a continuity issue. Probably one thing is because of the sound. After you get all the cuts nice and neat, and you trim using your ripple tool, then you should do some audio editing. That'll get your audio editing credit to even out the audio, normalize the audio levels. That'll help. Also, J and L cuts. Remember J and L cuts? You can use those also to help bring certain shots together that weren't necessarily originally, intended to be together side by side, but it will bring it together. It'll help bring things together by, putting a little bit of audio from one clip underneath the other clip. You can do it just a little bit to some extent here to kind of blend things together. So let's see if I can do a J and L cut here.
Here on campus as well.
yeah, I got
Okay, so to do a J and L cut, after you have made sure that your cut is in the right place by using your ripple tool. Remember the ripple tool? My favorite tool. So if I wanted to maybe give Tony a little more time to finish what he's saying,
Here on campus as well.
yeah.
I can click with the ripple tool on the end of Tony's clip and extend it a little bit longer, and see how it extends the clip and it pushes everything over in one step.
Yeah,
So now I just,
Here on campus as well.
yeah.
so I have her saying yeah now in this clip. Let's see what that's gonna do. If I but now I have probably way too much in this clip. So if I play forward,
Yeah, I got you.
I've got her saying yeah twice. So I really should decide which yeah to cut out, right?
Yes.
That's the decision I need to make with the ripple tool. So I can cut, if I want to trim out the yeah part
Yes.
or the so. Well, let's say I trim out the yeah
Campus as well.
and go just there. Then I trim out the yeah on this clip. I drag to the left, snap the end of the clip. It's trimming the end of the clip off. I'm snapping to the playhead. It's taking out all that section and closing the gap, pulling everything over, right?
Program here on campus as well.
Yeah, I got to get.
Okay, so that's a clean cut. So you make a clean cut. Use your ripple tool to clean things up. That's as clean as it's going to get. Then to make the J and L cut, then what tool do we need? You'll use the option key, yes, but which tool? It's it's not the ripple, it's under the ripple. Rolling edit tool, that's right, rolling edit tool. And then we use the option key so that we can select just the cut on the video, right? So dragging to the left makes what type of cut? L cut. Dragging to the right makes a J cut. So if I hold option and click, see it's only selecting the cut on video. If I just click, it selects the cut all the way down to audio, and that's not what I want if I'm doing a J or L cut. So I'm going to option click, and then let's see what happens if I drag a little bit to the left, just a little. It's not going to work if you do too much on these. Let's see how it looks. So that formed what shape? L, right? L cut. Let's see what that's gonna look like.
Makeup program here on campus as well.
Yeah, I got to.
Now it's a little bit you know, this one is you're kind of trying to deceive your viewer because he's not actually saying that at that moment. It works better when the clips are actually matching, but this is not actually matching, so I can't go too far, or it's gonna or the viewer is gonna catch it that it's out of sync. Just a little will do.
Makeup program here on campus as well.
Yeah, I got to get me. I got made up by.
But did you see kind of? Does it feel smoother than it did?
Yes. Here on campus as well.
Yeah, I got to get.
Because you hear, let's see. You're hearing Tony talking a little bit underneath while you're seeing the next clip. So it's blending them together. It's bringing them together. Let's see if I go the other way to make the J cut. What's that going to look like? So now this is forming like a J shape. So I went right.
Makeup program here on campus as well.
Yeah, I got to get me. I got.
That kind of works because she's saying yeah. Let me option click that and just go a little closer because we don't want to do it too much on these.
Program here on campus as well.
Yeah, I got to get.
And that kind of works because she's actually saying yeah there, right?
Campus as well.
Yeah, I got to get.
There we go. So either way will work, and it kind of brings them together better than just having the straight cut. Because with the straight cut,
Here on campus as well.
Yeah, I got to get.
I don't know, it helps a little bit to bring it together.
Campus as well.
Yeah, I got.
But it'll help, not too far. It'll help even more when we match the audio levels. Okay, so that's that. Now, the other thing I wanted to talk about is, you know, how to start really making this interesting so it's not just watching two people talk, although they are very interesting people talking, but it's gonna really bring your work to life if you start using the video 2 track to put visuals about, you know, that are based on what the interview is about. what is the content? What are they talking about? So partly that's a great reason to have markers, because it'll remind you of what those topics are. Because like when you mouse over a marker, or you see the durational markers are easier to read, but when you mouse over a marker, it'll tell you, oh, they're talking about Justin Bieber here. And then what I did was I imported Ashante's portfolio of work. So that one, let's see, that's this one right here. I imported it. I already had it organized in my folder in my promo media, and I just went to my project panel. I went to File, Import, or Command I, and I chose it in my Documents area, in my folder for the class, in my promo media, and I just brought in the whole folder, which was here, which I put here, which Ashante had told us about, that she has available on the student file, so you can copy this to your promo media if you don't have it. So I named it Ashante Malone Portfolio, and it has all of the work that she did, that she's talking about in the interview, so you can reference it. So I already imported. I clicked import. I'm going to cancel that. And then after I imported it, I went through it. I looked at it. Let's see, Ashante Malone Portfolio. I opened up certain videos here. There's like kinetic typography, and oh, I didn't get anything from this one. This one might be cool too. So, like, let's say I wanted this clip that she's actually dancing with the graphics that she created. So let's see. So I'm gonna press I where I want to start in. Okay, maybe I want to end on the ow part. That was pretty cool. Okay, so I say out there, oh there. So I have an in and an out, a little section here from her work. And then I want to put that in my storyboard. So I made a folder already called storyboard. Remember, to make folders, you just go to the new bin, you click it, you name it. And then I can highlight the storyboard bin. I can double click on it so I'm in it. That's important. Either highlight it or double click it so you're inside. And I'm looking at the storyboard bin in the thumbnail view. See thumbnail view, or it's called icon view, but you see the thumbnails, or the list. I like for it to be in my storyboard bin in the thumbnail view or icon view. And then once I'm in my storyboard, then that's telling Premiere, I want to make a subclip that's going to go there. Then now to actually make the subclip, I need to highlight the source monitor where I marked my in and out. So it's active. There, now see the blue line around it? That means it's active. And then I can make the subclip by going to clip, make subclip, or even better, Command U. Just use Command U. Command U if you can remember. And then I name it. So I'm just going to call this Ashante Project MJ. Oops, because this is like a Michael Jackson thing that she's dancing to. So I'll say okay. And now I have some Ashante projects. And I already did that to the Justin Bieber one here. This is a subclip. If I go to list view, you'll see that all the subclips have these icons that have like the in and out markers to show this is a subclip. Let me go back to the icon view. And so I know she's talking about Justin Bieber here. I have the clip of her work here. I can double click on it and it opens in the source. And then, okay, let me go back to the interview and hear what she said about Justin Bieber.
We did kinetic typography.
So she's talking about kinetic typography, which that's what this project is that I sectioned on. So I like this section because it's showing kind of kinetic typography, writing itself out and then doing an effect. So I'll just mark I there at the beginning. Okay, and then I'll mark O there. So I'm even sectioning off the subclip shorter to go into my project. Now, I could just drag this and drop it in by dragging it from the picture if I want the sound too, or if I want video only, I can drag from the drag video only button, or if I just wanted the audio, drag audio only, but I want the video, so I can just drag the video and drop it in and line it up with the Justin Bieber marker, if that's where I want it. Let me just...
did a Justin Bieber Friends where I had Selena Gomez at the ends, and there was.
And maybe I should find her Selena Gomez at the end to put that in there. But yeah, then I have a little bit of an image of what she's talking about there. If I wanted to see how that would sound with her, like maybe I want the whole thing with the sound, so I can delete this. And so if I want to actually bring in some sound, we can see what that's going to be like. That would go on video 2 and audio 2. I can drag from the picture, and you can see that hopefully you can see, it's going to video 2 and audio 2 because the audio came in 2 now. Now that might be a little bit distracting. We'll see. I could bring the audio level down so that it's not gonna be too distracting. Let me zoom in with plus. So now you see that Justin Bieber's here with the audio that goes. Whoa, that is way too loud. So the first thing I would do, because this is music that's highly compressed and the volume levels are super high, I can right click the audio and then go to audio gain, right? Remember audio gain? And then I can bring the gain down by a lot. So I could do -12 and see how far that brings it down and say okay. So now that brought the level down a lot. But it's still too high, so I can bring down the rubber band, drag down the rubber band. I can hold down command and add the little keyframes and then have it fade in and fade out, just so it's kind of subtle.
Effects, we did kinetic typography. I did a Justin Bieber Friends.
That's good.
Yeah, so maybe extend it a little bit longer.
Kinetic typography. I did a Justin Bieber Friends where I had Selena.
Yeah, and maybe I want it to go even more, kind of, till she's done talking about that. And that'll just kind of not only spruce things up with the visuals, but also the audio. It'll start to liven things up to hear a little bit of music behind the interview in places too, right?
We did kinetic typography. I did a Justin Bieber Friends where I had Selena Gomez at the ends, and there was pretty.
So I might, find that Selena Gomez in there too. Okay, and then let's see, there's another section that I wanted to embellish. Let's see what this marker is. So it's nice to have the marker. See, Usher Crash. I know she's talking about Usher Crash right here on this marker. And you can also jump to markers. If you forget how to, the shortcuts to jump to markers, you can go to the button editor and find, see, these are the little buttons that you can add to go to next marker or go to previous marker. But it tells you the shortcuts. If you don't want to have too many buttons down here, just memorize those shortcuts. So let's go to next marker. Shift M and go to previous marker. Shift Command M. So just if you just go remind yourself, memorize the shortcuts. So if I want to jump my playhead to the next marker, Shift M, right? And then my playhead's right on that marker. That's helpful. Usher Crash. She's talking about Crash there.
And I did a performance of Usher's Crash, so that was my actual first performance.
Okay, so I have a few of those clips in my storyboard that I can add. So this one here was one she did to Crash. So I just got a little section here. And I could just take the whole thing without even marking in and out. You don't always have to mark in and out. So I'll just grab it and drag it down like that. So that's one way to do it. Or another way, I have another Crash. I'll do it the automatic method too. So there's another one that's Crash. Oh, this one also with the flames. So this one's also Crash. So if I wanted to do automatic editing, what do I need to do? If I want to do like an overwrite edit, right? Because I don't want to do an insert because I don't want to split this up, right? I want to just overwrite it on video 2 track. So what do I need to do? I need to do some setup things.
Move the video one to the left.
So I need to move my source indicator up and patch it up to video 2. I could also highlight video 2, which is helpful so that I can use my up and down arrows on video 2 as well to get to the cuts. Audio 1 I can drag down to audio 2 as well. And then let's see what happens if I want to.
Anywhere they wanted to.
So here I'll put, she's talking about putting that we could superimpose her anywhere that we wanted to in After Effects.
They wanted to with the effects for us After Effects.
So that's a good place to put the next video around here. So I put my playhead where I want it, and then I can do overwrite, right? Let's see if this works. And then this clip should come in, video on video 2 track and audio on audio 2 track when I click on overwrite because I made the setup correct, hopefully. Let's see. You think it's going to work? Let's click it. There we go. It worked, right? So we have the video just landed in the right place and the audio landed in the right place because I patched the source indicator to the right tracks, right? Okay, so again, I could select these two here, right click, go to audio gain, do -12, and then I can bring down the rubber bands a certain level, certain amount. I can fade in, fade out. I can do that by command clicking, or if you prefer to use the buttons on the track, you can extend the tracks wider, and then let's see, I have to select one clip at a time to do that, and then I'll press the down up arrow to get to the beginning of the clip, and then click add a keyframe, and then I can drag this keyframe down so that it will fade in.
And in this class.
And then I can select and add, go to the end by pressing down, add a keyframe, drag the keyframe down, kind of go, and then here how.
And in this class, and that was a lot of fun where they put me in anywhere they wanted to with the effects for this.
So I should continue to, I'm going to hit command click to add keyframes. Maybe I'll go to the beginning of the clip and add a keyframe and drag the keyframe down so it fades in. And then I'll go to the end of the clip by pressing the down arrow, add a keyframe, drag down, and then Let's see, do I have these in the right
she was
place?
crashed, so that,
Maybe I want to slide this over for right when she's talking about crash.
and I did a performance of Usher's Crash, so that was my actual first performance in this class, and that was a lot of fun where they put me in anywhere they wanted to with the effects for his after effects and for his premiere. I got to work on
That's a little too loud for the voice in that one.
after effects.
But I could also be going to the audio here in the interviews and adjusting those to be louder. So I could right click and then go to audio gain and then adjust by, maybe I want to add 6 decibels to that. Positive 6. Say okay, and it grows the audio.
Into with the effects for his after effects and for his
So that's a lot better, right? You can hear her speaking much clearer, much more clearly. And I want to see my levels over here.
Day of the Dead.
So now her levels are looking much better. They're getting up there,
Day of the Dead.
up to -12.
Oh, Dia de los Muertos.
Yeah, we ended up doing another dance and
Okay, so you got the idea how to start to embellish your work with visuals on video 2-track, and then how to start mixing your audio together so we can hear the sound of the voices in the interview while we are seeing visuals and hearing maybe some music underneath. All right. Any questions? Should I do one more example with the makeup before we quit this? Because I did find some cool makeup shots, and we talk about the cosmetology there. And the makeup shots are great for doing time change techniques, which is also part of this assignment. So I can find again where we talked about cosmetology
helping Emilio and Alexis.
and setting up the altar. Those are very important to put in,
Did the makeup where some people thought it
shots of the makeup. And this time I could just drag in video only. And I marked, let's see, see, there it is. Okay, so let's say I want to stop there. So I say, oh, mark my out point. Then I drag my video down to video track 2, and I can, it's nice because when you're dragging down, you can line the snapping feature that's on helps you to really line clips up with those markers. So when you know what your markers are, like where she's talking about, okay, that's Thriller Dance. See, when I'm mousing over the markers, it's telling me what it is. So this marker, she's talking about cosmetology. So the students that came. So that's a good place maybe to put where she talks.
confidence came over and did the makeup where some people thought it was okay and then other people thought it was scary.
Yeah,
So this is a place where you can change the time on the makeup, and that would be cool. And remember, there's a tool. There are 4 methods of changing time. One of them is rate stretch, right? That's a really easy way to do it. Rate stretch, just drag on the end of that clip, make it shorter, and what's that going to do to it?
Speed it up.
Speed it up.
Did the makeup where some people thought it was okay and then other people thought it was scary.
That maybe you don't necessarily want to make it faster there. Let me undo that. It's when you want to kind of show like from beginning to end and get to it quicker so that people aren't sitting there watching paint dry to watch the makeup be finished. That's a good reason to speed things up. So I might do more on that later. Also setting up the altar in my storyboard. I had found a good shot of them all setting up the altar while Alexis was getting his makeup done. So this was a good shot here. So remember, go search for those treasures. This one's a treasure right here.
Cord, and you can count.
Okay, so let's say I want to start here. I press I, and I can scrub through to get to where I want to end. Well, maybe that'll be fun with Sunhee at the end. So I'll say O there, and then I'm gonna find building the altar. She's talking about building the altar here.
From other conference, and they made up Alexis as well, and I got to.
Okay, so this is good because she's talking about making up Alexis as well, and we have Alexis being made up as well there, and then I can do overwrite because I have things patched correctly. So overwrite, but how about now I don't want the audio, but I want to do an automatic edit. So what can I do? I want to just deselect the source for audio. Let's see if that works. Let's see if I just do overwrite, comes in. Yep, see, just deselecting the audio one source then makes it so that only the video came in now.
Made up Alexis as well, and I got to build the altar and with helping Emilio and Alexis.
This one might be a good one to speed up, so maybe I'll speed that up and see how that looks faster. Yeah, see, they're working a lot faster now. Maybe even faster. Oh, it looks more like a time lapse now. So it's kind of fun. I don't know. You can do stuff for effect. Make it look like they're working real fast. Okay, so that's the idea for the promo, and we're gonna continue on that and learn more about titles coming up. All right.